Hey Flippers, I am officially on vacation this week. It's not just a phony background. They've actually got the behind me, and it's a lot of fun. We're having a great time down here on the Gulf Coast. Yeah, I got my walking hat on. Um, and I came by this one. This is honest to goodness wear and tear on this thing. I didn't buy it that way. My favorite Badger hat. My brothers and my wife tell me I shouldn't wear it, I've been putting about 7 miles a day on it out there hitting the beach and the streets and the stairs here and at the beach. It's been a lot of fun. And I thought, well, I don't want to. I've got some of you guys that really look forward to hearing the podcast every week, and I'm so thankful for you. Um, to miss it, but at the same time, I haven't been doing any flipping down here. I can't say that's completely true because the fact is, um, just was just working on a deal, trying to do a trade for a boat, trying to not do a trade for a boat. I don't know anything about boats, so I figure if I'm going to do it, I talked to my buddy Tori, who knows about boats. Tori was on episode 25 or something like that. 109. Tori's a great flipper. He knows a little bit about boats. But he gave me some advice, to maybe just sell the cars, trade for a boat. So I made an offer, not very appealing to the boat owner who had made the offer to me, and err on the side of caution. So flipping continues no matter what. If you're a car flipper, you constantly got deals in the works. I got stuff working back home, but I'm trying to just enjoy some one time with Terry and I here at the beach and just enjoy that. And I can't help but came across two trucks since I've been down here that I could make a deal on. I've come across a couple properties, three this morning that I took pictures of, real estate that I'll look into because it's in your blood. You just keep doing it. And I'm thankful. I'm thankful for that and for being able to see opportunities wherever I go. But I'm also really thankful for the opportunity to get away and share the time with my bride. And hey, and while I'm thinking about that, you can hear Terry and my uh, episode together. We did one way back, I think, episode 26 of Flipping Genius, and it's not something we talk a lot yet, but Terry and I do a podcast called Working on Happily Ever After, and you can find that probably on Spotify and on Apple Podcasts, I think. We only have 10 episodes out so far, but it's Working on Happily Ever After. It's just a thing that Terry and I put together based around our relationship and just talking to folks. So if that's something appealing to you and your spouse or your significant other or whatever, check that out. You may enjoy it. It's kind of cool. But I thought this week on Genius, I'm going to talk about just some stuff I came across this week that I thought would be fun to talk about. And Terry and I have been talking about maybe doing some personal interest episodes down the line. And I thought, well, heck, my podcast, I could do it. I learned a lot on the road here, and it's stuff that applies to my business and it will apply to your business and applies to life. And I thought, I kind of want to share some insights that I had. We had to drive about 6 hours down, and we spent the first night at an Airbnb place. It was pretty cool, and I thought I'd just share a little bit about that. The first stop that we made was for lunch at a little place called Bama Burgers, and outside of Birmingham. Cannot remember the name of the town right now. And I got the biggest kick out of these two ladies that worked there. They they kept encouraging us to get more food than we could eat. I'm pretty staunch. If you watch the videos, you can see I've diligently been working on my weight. I've lost 57 pounds this year. I try not to eat too much but they kept saying, "Yeah, if you can't eat it here, you can take it home." And I've never heard anybody constantly be selling on that, and they encouraged us to buy dessert and keep we weren't a good customer. We didn't do that, but I did enjoy their enthusiasm, um, continuing to help build the business. I don't think either one of these ladies that we're dealing with, one was just the cook and one was the waitress, and I believe they were just trying to do their best to build business that they were working in. And I thought it's kind of cool. But that was I asked Terry about it this morning. I said, "What do you remember about that place?" And she said, take it home. You can have it tomorrow." I don't know. Do with that with that what you can. Um, but I felt that they were loving their customers and that they were at the same time they kept selling. And think there's a lesson in that. I'm not sure what it is, but hey, if you've got some, insight as to what that means to you, write me back, flippingquestions@gmail.com. I want you guys to share with us, with me, share with everybody, and I'll mention it, probably 5 times during this episode. But if you're not already a member of the Car Flipping Forum, join the Car Flipping Forum. It's free to join. Free to join FRE. You can share with each other your questions, your examples, your experiences, your victories, your funny stories, whatever you got to share. We'd love to hear them. The next place that I actually was before we got to Bama Burgers, we stopped at a little place called Leldon's, which Weldon is a great guy. He does some woodwork. He's in Coleman, Alabama. If you are looking for some real specialized woodwork, artwork, and things like that, Weldon does some awesome work. Just for example, he can do a cutout of the outline of your state. He does mostly Alabama, but he can do any state. And they're pretty cool wall hangings made out of repurposed wood. He does a lot of other stuff too. But Weldon, I asked him, "Can you do this? Can you do that?" Weldon and I are both the same barter association. I've talked about that as a times. And I said, "Can you do this on our barter deal? Can you do that?" And Weldon said these words, "For you, I can do that." And I don't know if Weldon says that to everybody. I don't think he does. I think he really was taking care of me. And that was a pretty cool feeling to know that he was concerned about me. And I hope that taught me a lesson on how I can treat people I'm dealing with. Thank you, Weldon. I don't know if you watch the podcast. Probably don't. Do it meant a lot just to hear those words. And along the way there, I felt like God was talking to me. This is a weird thing. I'll tell you more about it in a minute. But one of the funny signs that we saw at Weldon's place was "Life's too short, cheap." And it's funny as this comes up again later on. So I made a note of it, and later on I thought God is fascinating, concerned about a lot of things. And maybe he was talking to me there. The Airbnb that we stayed at was a little place in Elba, Alabama. It is in the middle of nowhere, man. It took us about an hour to find a place to get coffee the next day. And unfortunately, they didn't have a coffee maker at the house that we stayed in, but it was a cool house. They also had no Wi-Fi, no television, no Wi-Fi, but it was out in the woods. And they had a really cool, beautiful backyard, lots of pine trees. And Terry and I just had a lot of fun just hanging out and talking. And I am really thankful for that time we had together with no TV and no Wi-Fi. We could get a little bit on our phone. The phone still worked, but it was very interesting. And Airbnbs are a lot of fun. We've enjoyed them. It was a place, a different kind of place. It's slightly less than local hotels. I didn't like the reviews I saw on hotels, so we did that. Pretty cool. And that was fun. I mentioned it took us an hour to find a place to get a cup of coffee. By the time I got there, I was going through withdrawals. Drinking coffee right now. found a place called Calamity Creek Restaurant. I, I think it was in Sampson, Alabama. I remembered, yeah, Sampson, Alabama. Some wonderful people who had opened a little restaurant and had great breakfast. And I didn't get the owner's name. She was hopping. She was doing everything. She was cooking. She was serving coffee. She was just her, just short employees like so many people these days. And great breakfast, good coffee, nice folks, and really enjoyed talking to her at the checkout. As I was paying, I got to know a little bit about their story, and what a cool thing they got cooking there. She was a former postal worker, and her husband owns a little farm. Her and her husband own a farm, and what they've developed there is a restaurant. They're also selling the crops that they grow, and they've got cabins along a creek there in Sampson, Alabama, where you can get out on the water. And I mentioned, honestly, just joking, Mary and I watched a lady named Mary who does a show on YouTube. She's all over YouTube with a place called, I think it's called White Cottage Company. And we just enjoy listening to Mary Yoder from Ohio talking about her business, learning about our business, the video business, the podcast business. That's part of what we do. And I mentioned Mary to the lady at Calamity Creek and said, "You guys ought to, do a video like Mary, because Mary just opened up a couple cottages, rent on Airbnb or VRBO or whatever up there in Ohio." And she said, that's when she said, "Well, we got the cabins, and we'll probably do the videos." And it's so amazing to me. I mean, clearly these folks are busy, as is Mary, but it seems like the folks who are doing the most will find a way to do more. And that was something that came up again. I'll mention that in a minute. It seems like it's so fascinating to me that you listen, and I mean this. I don't know where you stand on faith. I believe in Jesus. I am a Christian, and I just think that God cares about everything we do. I don't understand why He does. Along the way, all the time we've been on vacation, I felt that God was talking to me, and it's kind of cool. I'm talking to Terry too, trying to figure some things out as we get into our whatever age you call this, and try to break away from many ties we have to traditional employment. Um, we we heard some messages along the way, and I thought I'd share them with you because they might help you too. We met some folks there from Wisconsin. Really cool. Got a chance to talk about a little Badger football right there at Calamity Creek over breakfast. And I'll talk about the beach we were heading to. We were just a couple hours away at that point, and that was a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun there. And Terry and I got to share a lot there about doing instead of wishing, and we'll talk about that more. That's where we've been doing a lot. You can kind of tell that I'm a doer. My beautiful bride is a wisher and a thinker, and she's cautious, smart. I'm not cautious, probably not smart, but together we make a good team. Later that day, we met a lady named Bonita at Culver's in Panama City Beach, and I want to give a shout out to her. If you happen to go to Culver's, it's the greatest burger place, I think. They're out of Wisconsin, of course. Great burgers, great custard, frozen custard, great chili, great cheese curds, and great service. And Bonita, just what a wonderful lady. She reminded me of my mother-in-law. Just a lovely lady who had a big heart and looked at things from like a small world point of view. We told her we were from Alabama. She started asking if we knew people because her Alabama's like a neighbor. We're in Florida, Panama City Beach, Florida, and I love Culver's. I love their community, their culture, and their employees always blow me away. I love their food too. Um, but I took the time to really try to write up a good review for Bonita. And if you go to Culver's here, I mean, this is a great idea that they have. I try to write reviews everywhere I go if I got the time. It's hard to find the time, but at Culver's, on the receipt, they say, give us a review, give us a feedback. And if you do that, take that 3 or 4 minutes to do a little review on their receipt, they'll give you a free little sundae, which I give to Terry because I don't need to eat that stuff because it doesn't make me feel good. and it was a place to give a shout out. So I definitely gave a shout out to Nita on there because she did a great job, and I just I wanted her to have some benefit. I hope it benefits her. I hope it makes a couple extra dollars like that. It told her, I told them about that. I don't know that we're going to find anybody else like her. She's pretty cool. Later that night, this is where God spoke to me, I forgive me if you're saying, Randy, what's this got to do with cars? Well, I think you can find something to do what I'm talking about. I think you can, if you listen, you'll find some messages here that can help you. And if not, just click off. If so, let me know. If you got something that you want to, elaborate on, let me know. I'd love to hear it. Flippingquestions@gmail.com is the easiest way to write to me, or just on the car flipping forum. We went to ABC Liquor that night. We were looking for a specific drink that Terry would like to try. And I was looking at bourbon because I like looking at bourbon, I like looking at bourbon bottles. And I ran into a guy there, fascinating guy, who knew all about bourbon, a lot more than I don't know anything about it, but I just know down here. Yeah, I think it's going the wrong direction on the video. You look down in the lower left-hand corner, that's where the cheapest stuff is at the liquor store. That's usually what I buy. And around here, that's stuff called Kentucky Gentleman. It's the worst bourbon you can get. And this gentleman explained to me why I should not drink that. There's something called bonded distilling, and why anything that's not distilled bonded is pretty much poison. So he explained that. It was very beneficial, and like I said, I learned earlier, life is too short for cheap bourbon, and that made me think like God is looking out for me even when I'm drinking bourbon. Fascinating story that this cat was buying. He was a bourbon flipper. Like I mentioned my buddy Tori Boyd earlier. Tori, he flips cars, but he also flips boats. He also flips guitars, and the golf carts. And you could hear him talk about on the issue on the episode Tori was on with me. Well, this guy, he buys and sells bourbon, and he told me that he had recently, just that day, bought a bottle of Pappy Van Winkle bourbon. Obviously, well, not obviously. I It is a high dollar bourbon. I don't I've never had one in my hand, but he bought a bottle for $50 shelf, and he already had an offer to flip it for $1,000. So fascinating stuff. But he helped me. I don't think I'm going to get it. I just I enjoyed learning a little bit about bourbon from him. I don't drink tons of bourbon or anything. I'm not but when I do, I learn spend a little bit extra money, take care of yourself, don't drink that poison. So we made a little bit better purchase. Still stayed, on the cheap side. But gentleman, I don't know his name, really kind of taught us that. Now we had a lot of great conversations, but we continue to have conversations today here at the beach, and we've learned a lot. Terry and I have learned a lot together, and really have enjoyed some things. But I made some more notes I want to share with you. I'm going to take one little break here, and when we come back, I'm going to share some of the ideas that we've gotten that I think are going to help us. I hope they can help you too. Hang on. Okay, so we got to the beach. We're at Panama City Beach, Florida, which in the panhandle of Florida, if you're not familiar with it. And we haven't been here in probably about 10 years. And we've got a nice place up on the 14th floor looking out at the Gulf Coast. It's a beautiful day. It's today's the first day of November, whatever, this, and it is a gorgeous day. I cannot see a person out here on the beach, which frankly love that. And Terry loves it too. Not she's not a real big people person, but you can see down there. I think you can spin around. Nobody, nobody. And that's something crazy. It's like 9:36, right? And nobody out there. Nice day. I've already walked about 4 miles this morning. Got up early and got after it like I like to. Beautiful morning. I wore a little windbreaker because it was about 59 degrees. I, right now it's probably I don't have my here, probably around 5, 68 degrees. Awesome. This afternoon it'll probably get up close to 80 and beautiful. But anyway, that's got nothing to do with what we were talking about. I was sitting right here at this table on the other side of the table. Terry was looking out, and yesterday, I think it was yesterday, and we were talking about perspective. And as we look out, as we got here, I think Terry had a lot of stuff on her mind. I don't have as much stuff on my mind because my mind is less complicated. But she's worried about a lot of things, and she's thinking about a lot of things that are on her plate. And she said, "I love it. Come here because look out, it's beautiful, endless ocean up here, the Gulf of Mexico, and look at the beautiful, endless sky, and it makes me realize how small my problems are and how small I am." And then the other thing that I was able to add to that is I was a person yesterday at this time walking down the beach by herself, and I said, "The thing to me is this point at that one lady there that yeah, her problems are seem big to her, and her world's big to her, but it's just the same as our perspective. But the thing was that in my mind, God cares about that one person, cares about Terry and I. I don't know how that happens. I really don't. I believe it with all my heart. And I believe if we give our problems to God, He will help us. And that perspective helps me, Gabby, in life a lot. I encourage you to grab hold of that and carry to grab hold of that. And forgive me if I am crossing the line here, shout and yell at me. Oh, or if this is beneficial, I'd love to hear you tell me that too. That'd be pretty cool. Flippingquestions@gmail.com. That's how you reach me. Flippingquestions@gmail.com. You can find our website, by the way, Flipping Genius, FLIPPINGENIUS.com. Only one G in there. You can find all the contacts, all the videos, all the episodes, our resources page, email contacts, every way, everything that's related to Flipping Genius on the website, and including links to our car flipping forum, which is free to join. You can also become a team member. You become a partner. You can become a champion. Those are paid memberships that allow you access to me and our team, and we try to reach out to you and help you build your business. Depending on what level you want us to participate at, that's the level we'll go to, and we are continuing to grow that side of the business because the number one goal of Flipping Genius is to help you make more money. And I feel like the more impact I can make, the more money you will make. And that's really what we're trying to reach out to do. If it's just the podcast, fine. I hope that what we talk about here is going to make you money. But if you want us to step up our involvement, we can do that too. And I believe that our impact will make a net profit. And that's the whole idea. It's not terribly expensive. Check it out. Let's go to flippinggenius.com. Only one G in there. That's a pitch. Looking at my notes here. So we live on our big small in relation to everything, and God cares. And God cares. He must have been a little worried about me the other day. I don't know if you can see it. If you're watching the video, you might see a little bruise here on my chin. Told you, I'm doing about 7 miles a day. I did 200 and I think it was 209, 208 miles in October. I keep track of it. If you see me on Facebook, I say I'm a man with a plan and a clipboard. I keep track of it on my clipboard every day, and determined to hit actually 2,000. The goal is 1,800 miles for the year, and it looks like I'm going to hit 2,000 by the time the year is after going over or something. So I'm out walking, trying to hit this big number for October the other day, hit my toe hit something along the street, walking on the beachfront boulevard here, and I went bam right on my chin, face first, and it was a trip, man. I hit the ground. I'm 62 years old. I'm always saying I wish there was a senior football league. And I kind of thought one of my first thoughts after I realized I really hurt, I popped back up and I thought I might be ready because my biggest fear of senior football league concept, more weight I lose, the better I feel. I thought I think I can knock somebody down, but if I get knocked down, can I get back up? And I got right back up and I brushed myself off and I didn't have any cuts or abrasions, scratch here and a cut on my hand, not a lot of blood or anything, and I felt pretty good. The other thing I noticed is nobody. I was like 7, 8 feet away from some people who were sitting up there eating crabs or shrimp or something. Not a single one of them even asked me if I was okay, let alone got out of their chair and came off the porch to check and see if the old man was okay. But I thought, well, maybe I just looked so virile that they weren't worried about me. The other thing, man, that my headphones, my earplugs fell right out of my head, and I thought it felt kind of like the old days when you popped into somebody way back when I played football, and you hit somebody hard. I mean, it just jars you, but it jarred me. It's like kind of like your helmet flying off. It's funny, and I also knew that I was going to have to tell Terry about it when I got home because I had that road rash on my chin. I knew there was no way that she was not going to know that. So anyway, I was no worse for the wear, and I'm running. I had a few little pains here and there, but I never know where the pains are coming from. I got pain every single day. I'm out here. You know, when you do 7 miles a day and you got an open body, you're gonna feel it. But I feel pretty good, in case you're wondering. I would love to hear you about your flipping stories, by the way. If you got stuff to share, you know, everybody would love to hear from you too. So if you're interested on being on a podcast, I can't guarantee you get to do it at the beach, but we generally do them on Zoom. If you'd like to do a one-on-one with me, we can talk about whatever your experiences are, whatever your questions are. If you just want to send me the stuff, want me to include it on a future episode, send it to me. But I'm always looking for your input. I mean, let's help each other make money. You know, I'm always saying that all the time. And one of my favorite things, you know, about when I come to the beach is something that I've told you about before. I keep telling you about this, and I know most of you will never ever heed this suggestion. I don't know why, because I'm so thankful that I learned this almost 30 years ago. The idea of paying for things with barter instead of cash. Because when I come down here right now, the beautiful, uh, beautiful condo that we're staying in right here on the Gulf Coast. I didn't pay any cash for it other than taxes. Paid a couple $100 tax fee. Everything else is paid for with barter money. And if you want to know more about it, I can explain that to you. I'm not trying to recruit you anymore. I don't work for them. It's just beneficial to me. And just like everything else I'm telling you today, I'm trying to share stuff I know because I think it will help you make more money and live a better life. I'm just blown away by it. Culver's is a member. Domino's Pizza is a member down here. We're on the fourth floor of a beautiful condo that all via barter. Before we headed here, a buddy at Weldon's, barter member of one of the groups that I'm in. Last week, I bought a bunch of new presents for Terry because I'm big on Christmas, love Christmas. I love the idea that we're celebrating the birth of Jesus Christ, but I just love Christmas presents, giving Terry presents mostly. That's my really goal. Not very good at getting presents. Bama Burgers that I mentioned earlier, they're a member. You know, I'm a cheap dude, so if I can eat and not spend cash, that's wonderful. Culver's is one of my favorite places on the planet to eat, and the idea that I could eat there without spending cash is, man, like Terry says, that is a happy man. So that's been a lot of fun. And then when you get treated like Bonita treated us, what a wonderful person. It's just an awesome thing. So I can't, you know, you've heard me talk about it before. If you've watched the podcast, I talk about it pretty frequently. I bet every fifth episode I'm talking about Barbara. And that's not because I'm like on some multi-level kick or something like that. It makes a difference. Like a buddy of mine said, Barter is smarter. Her phrase, her catchphrase for her office up in Huntsville, and man, it's really true. And Lisa Smith, she was back on episode 16, I think. She was 15 or 16. She was on the podcast talking about it. I didn't do a very good job of interviewing her, but you can hear more about that. And that was it's been a lot of fun because of that too. Uh, I'm gonna wrap this thing up in just a second to gather my thoughts. Be right back. All right. Hey, I didn't want to spend all morning doing this, but I didn't want to miss this. I wanted to share everything I could with you. And I thought this time, the time that I'm up here, the time that I had to walk along the beach, it's been good for me, and I wanted to share what I got with you. Just got a couple more ideas that I wanted to share, and I really do think these can be beneficial to you. If you think not, cool. If you get some value from this stuff, it'd be awesome if you reach out to me. If you're not a member of Living Forum, or if you're not already uh, subscribing to the YouTube channel, please do that. And if you can give me a 5-star review any place, I'd appreciate that. Share us on social media. Do anything you can to help us get us going. Um, there's no charge for what we do, but at the same time, I've got to make it pay so I can pay the bills. So we've got some things that we try to get folks involved in, and forgive me for being talking about that. I hope I don't talk about it too much, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention some of those things. Flippinggenius.com, FLIPPINGNIUS.com. You can find all their stuff. Earl Watts. As a name, it makes me smile. Um, as a lot of you know, I'm a songwriter. Randy Lee died in hear all my songs. They're not very well done, but I think they're very good songs. Earl's another songwriter, great guy, a veteran of our armed forces, older man than me, but one of my favorite. I had the opportunity to stop by Earl's place this week, trying to get a chance to see him. Earl's I don't know how old he is. I'm guessing 75 years old, something like that. He's getting older. Beautiful partner in life. Holly is also getting older, and they're two people that I really value. And I was thinking about him. I need to get over and see her, Holly. Tried, but they live out in the country and beautiful place along the river, and hopefully I'll get together and get back. But since I missed them that day, we've corresponded back and forth a little bit, all that interaction with Earl and Holly made me recognize, that time is limited. I'm hoping to get a chance to see these dear friends again soon. And I recognize that you've got to live life for today as well as in the future. You gotta look, you gotta plan, you gotta attack, but don't miss today. Enjoy today. I'm fitting to do that in a minute here. Terry and I will go out and enjoy the beautiful surroundings here, beautiful beach, and all the wonderful stuff that we've got here. But don't miss today. Don't miss it. Looking too far into the future. And love the people that you love. Take the time to let them know that you care, and look for those opportunities and embrace them, attack them. Beautiful bride. A lot of times she says, "I wish this" or "I wish that." A lot of times she thinks about things for a long time. She's smart that way. I'm not so smart. I usually attack them. Someplace in between is a good idea. Don't don't let fear keep you from obtaining opportunities to attacking them. Form good habits and then attack those habits, add those habits. For me, it's walking every day. That's one of the things I do. And then once you get those good habits set up, don't break them. Do not break them. And I made a note to myself. This is going to go someplace when I get back to the office. It's going to be someplace where I see it every day. I just wrote down, be your own Barry. Anybody out there knows me, knows it's, you might not be able to see it on this shirt, but very faintly and on my hat. And I am a crazy Wisconsin Badger fan. Barry Alvarez is the greatest Badger coach ever. So I just wrote down, be your own Barry. Now, if you're in Alabama, say be your own Nick. Or if you're a Packer fan or a history buff, be your own Lombardi. But my idea is you've got to constantly be that voice that's driving you to your goal. And you got to constantly revise those goals and make sure that you're on the track that you want to be on. And make sure you're doing the things that take you to that place that you want to be. And that place is specific for you. It's not the same for you as it is for me. And that's fine. That's fine. And that place can change as time goes by. And that's fine too. Concentrating on it. Keep examining yourself. Keep getting better. Be your own Barry. Hey, folks, let's work together. Let's make some money. Let's all become living